Milo Bitton,
Nice to see you.
future
Professor.
black belt world champion, Masters black belt world champion.
That'd be nice. One of these days.
family champions, athletes. It's great to sit down with you. And,
Glad
hung
to
out
be
a lot, and yeah, thank you for making the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You're originally from.
So, yeah.
You're in France and Israel.
Yeah, my parents were actually both born in Morocco.
Morocco.
Yeah. And I was born in Tel Aviv, Israel, and moved to France at age 10, and then moved to the States at 21.
At 21.
Yeah. So I have a little bit of a mixture of cultures, I guess, languages.
You went to French schools.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's I would say, probably my most dominant language, yeah, French. Went to high school, university there, and then moved to the U.S.
What made you move to the U.S.?
Well, my father is kind of a nomad, He wanted to always discover new things, So he moved us to France, and then he said, "No, the States," That was always a dream, and we all moved to the United States.
Did you guys come to Los Angeles first?
Yeah, we had family here. We have a pretty good-sized family here, and that was always the dream, yeah.
Nice.
And I have to say, I love this place. Yeah, I mean, I love France, I love Europe. Israel is a great place, but I feel very much Californian now.
Yeah. It's been most of your life. It's been here now.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. I basically grew my business here. I got to love, the American dream even more, and enjoying it.
Yeah. I can't. I've lived in different places, but I think now I've lived the longest time in LA as well. And I love it here too.
Yeah, I didn't go to Israel for, what was it? I think over 30 years or more. And then I went back there about 15 years ago with my wife to visit.
Mm-hmm.
And it was amazing. It was a great trip. And then every time I go to Europe, I'm realizing how beautiful the space is, and each city has its own characters. And yes, it's beautiful, but I love the slight craziness of Hollywood, Los Angeles, the States,
Yeah, as long as you're not like in the middle of it, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I like to observe it from far.
Yeah. I went to Israel with my dad. One of his bucket list things was to go to Israel.
Nice.
Yeah. Really beautiful. Got to, of course, flew to Tel Aviv, and this jiu-jitsu guys was growing there,
Nice.
One of Renzo Gracie's black belts was there, and then he connected me with all his friends, and
Mhm.
it's been growing a lot.
Nice.
in
Yeah,
Israel.
they love combat sports over there. Judo.
Yeah.
They're big on judo, too.
Yeah. And going to Jerusalem, it's really something else. How
Nice.
It's just ancient, right?
Your father wanted to visit the religious maybe sites?
Yeah,
and
for sure.
things like that?
For sure.
Nice.
Yeah. So went to Jerusalem, and his walking wasn't so good at that point yet. We're already, so we kind of had to strategically kind of, position ourselves, and he got to see everything. And
Nice.
It's really nice.
Oh no, it's an amazing touristic place, for any religion, any type of person. It's got a lot of history. All
And
of it.
so old, like everything's built on top of each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Jewish quarter, the Muslim quarter, and the Christian quarter, and then I went to the basement of the Christian quarter, and it's all like Armenian
Wow.
like churches, and then you go another level down, all Armenian churches.
Crazy.
And then you have the Armenian quarter there too. So it was really interesting, eye-opening.
Well, that's why it's a place for the whole world, really. There.
Yeah.
I think it's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. We went to the Dead Sea. Had to jump in it was the winter time, but I still went in.
Did you read your newspaper floating?
I just got in the water. I floated just to do it. It was freezing though.
Yeah.
My dad was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, I'm here at the Dead Sea. I gotta do it."
Yeah, I made the mistake to dive in, and everyone
Oh
was
my God!
screaming,
It's
"Don't do
like
that!
rocks.
Don't do
Yeah, it's
that!"
like
Yeah.
crystals, right? Crystallized
Yeah,
salt.
it's unbearable.
Yeah.
I didn't open my eyes, but I didn't make a mistake twice. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Did you ever go to the Masada by any chance?
Yeah, we did the top, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We went up there,
That's beautiful
and
sight.
yeah, we did like all the tours and all the sites he wanted to see. I even did a day trip to Jordan and went to
Nice.
what's the not caves but the carvings,
Oh yeah. That's super famous place.
Petra.
Petra. Yeah, those are countries I would like to visit once. I did visit Morocco. I went on a trip with my mother. She went back after 50 years that she had moved away from Morocco, and we went to the house where she was born, and the city and the market. It's amazing.
Yeah.
All this part of the world is interesting.
Yeah. You went to I follow you guys' family, right? We see each other going to different spots around the world, right? Try to enjoy the moments.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then just going to jiu-jitsu, like being at the many tournaments, many days, right, together, like watching over the years, and then your kids growing up and doing the same thing,
Yeah, no, they're amazing. Both of them are into it. They're also into wrestling.
Nico's wrestling it.
Especially Nico, he's a teenager now. I mean, he's in high school for the first year, and he's competing, and he's
Did really
training
well,
all the time. It's a journey. Yeah, and we're enjoying wrestling here at Legacy also. That's Coach Astomir.
Yeah.
And I do my jiu-jitsu. I can't believe I do it sometimes, but I am doing it.
Yeah, competing at all the major tournaments too. Really committing.
Yeah, I don't even know really why I started competing, but I said, let me see what I have, And then I started as a
How
white
did your
belt.
kids start competing? How did that happen? Do you remember? Did they ask you?
No, I think we were pushing.
You're pushing.
Yeah, my wife used to be a professional tennis player, and I think she has competition in her blood. And I'm a competitive guy, even though I didn't really compete in sports before. I'm competitive, in life in general. I like to challenge myself. And we were pushing them, and at first they were wondering, why are we doing this? I said, no, it's good for you, And they got addicted.
Yeah.
Yeah, both Bono.
Like this is who we are. This is what we do.
You do one, you lose, and you say, no, I'm going to win the next one. And then they start training more and more. And no, they're into it. It's great.
Yeah, it's been cool seeing Nico's journey, right, from the different belts, right, and then having the first big win, and then, okay, I can do this, and I'm a champion, and then keep going, right, and keep improving, and then that's always just straight up, right? You go down a little bit and then back up, and then seeing Bono he's got to be watching that, right, when he's smaller.
Yes.
And taking that in, and then making his own journey.
No, I remember something specific. You were at one of the after one of the tournaments, and Nico was having few losses, and then he started getting silver, and then you saw him train, and you said to him and to me, and he said, "That's it. You're ready for gold now. You're ready." And I didn't quite get it, but you could read into his training and the way he was.
You're gonna win,
handling it, and that was it. And from there on, was win after win, and his confidence is up, and Bono, it's kind of the same,
Yeah. Did it inspire you to start competing, or did you compete before that?
You know what? It's a good question. I think we, as a whole family, we took the
You're
membership for a tournament.
I'm already here.
Yeah, I said, okay, I'll try it in the same time. It was both of the kids. I was white belt still, and I said, yeah, I'll give it a try. I think my first tournament or my second tournament was gi and no gi the same day, which I don't think I'm doing that too often. That's quite hard, I have to say. But yeah, I gave it a try, and the same as jiu-jitsu, it's just an addicting exercise.
Yeah, it's been fun for you to watch you too. Like having the those key moments, right, where you win and you overcome like a whatever thing, like what do you call it, a level, right? You level up
I
in
agree.
different tournaments,
Yeah.
learning. Okay, this is what I gotta do.
Yeah, and every time that I moved to the next belt, I told myself, no, that's gonna be real hard. Now it's blue belt, now it's purple belt, and I feel like I'm able to go through the transition fairly nicely. So that's a nice feeling.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What was that one tournament where it was that rear naked choke position?
Oh yeah,
Because the guy wouldn't tap or
I
something
remember
like that.
Yeah, yeah.
We actually did. I did a little video with Kevin like last week or 2 weeks ago on it. You know.
Yeah, I had to fight the same guy twice or three times, I forget.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I got him in a rear naked choke, but I was kind of being a nice guy,
Mhm,
And then
mhm.
after the tournament, he told me, you
Well, it's
can just
technique, right?
go
It's
for it,
technique. Yeah, yeah.
And I said, really? I said, okay, and it worked. It worked perfect.
Yeah, it was one of the you have to win. Well, if he wins twice, then that's it. But if one person wins once and the other person wins the other time, then you have
Yeah,
maybe
I
three
forget if
matches.
this was a 2 fight or 3 fight, but it
Yeah,
was the same guy.
it was something like he had a point or something, and then he held on, and it was like you were dominating the whole match, but
Yeah.
he won by like a point or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then it was that position, and then you guys went again. You're like, all right, and he did the same thing, but this time you finished the
Yeah,
choke.
no, that influenced me quite a bit because I changed my game plan. When I compete, it's
Your approach, your mindset.
Yeah. I mean, it's okay to be very careful. Of course, I'm careful, but when you train is one thing. When you compete is a different thing. Because these other guys are not gonna be so forgiving. So
Mhm. Yeah,
it
Yeah.
it teaches you. It's good.
yeah, yeah. I like training with you too, because you're always keeping that in the back of your head, like the points and this and that, and it's kind of it gets me excited too,
That's good. Yeah, it's a different mindset, I have to say. Yeah, and I don't realize it sometimes.
Gets me more focused, instead of course it's good to play and to move around and stuff. I think it's important too to do that too, but it's kind of fun to like really focus and okay, this is
Yeah,
you don't want to give up this point to that point.
yeah. I roll with people, and they tell me, I can tell you're competing, and I wonder why. What do you mean? Because I feel like I'm not going crazy when I
Yeah.
roll at the gym, and I do things not to level 10, And I said, no, I feel it the whole time. The way you're handling it, the way you explode. Okay, well, I gotta slow it down maybe.
How is it watching your kids compete and like from the jiu-jitsu tournaments to the wrestling tournaments, and I just look at your face and you're like happy. I see you like happy. You're just like
I'm almost ridiculous sometimes. I have tears in my eyes,
Yeah,
when I see
yeah.
them compete. It's win or lose, it's just emotional for me to see them put everything out there, and they don't hold back, and you see a 15-year-old or a 10-year-old just really care about what he's doing and wanting to win, and it's emotional for me. Yeah,
That's what it's all about, right?
it's almost too emotional, but yeah,
Yeah,
that's how I am.
Sarah had a moment too this last weekend with the Masters. She like stayed down and stood up and got emotional, and it's like it's beautiful. That's what it's about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Giving your all, right, towards something. Giving your everything you got.
Yeah, I heard your daughter is moving on to the next.
The state, yeah.
That's amazing. Nico
Yeah.
was working so hard to to go past CIF, right?
Mhm.
And he did good, but he had all seniors,
Mhm.
to fight. So
It's a big
tough.
level. Yeah, it's a big level. I think even with the boys, it's because they develop differently, right?
I see. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, they felt like he was fighting men,
Yeah.
not 15-year-old kids.
Yeah.
But I think he'll be doing great next year.
Yeah,
too.
for sure. Just like the other belts, right? The
Yeah.
gray belt, the yellow belt, this, that.
Yeah, they don't have belts in wrestling, but that's what it is basically. It depends on the years you compete.
Yeah.
Makes a whole different person, whole different fighter.
Yeah, yeah. How has jiu-jitsu helped you in your life?
Um, Yeah, it's I really love it. First of all, I started late, right? I started in my early to mid 50s, basically, which is quite crazy, right? I remember my first time my kids were at this other gym, Hollywood, Hollywood BJJ.
Mhm.
It doesn't exist anymore, but it's a
Was
nice
it
place to
Rodrigo or was
start.
it Sean Flaherty?
Sean.
Sean Flaherty?
Yeah.
Nice.
And I was watching my kids train, and I talked to the coach. I said, "Hey,
What made you want to bring them into jiu-jitsu?
oh, so Gabriela and I were looking for combat sports, right,
Mm.
for them, and my wife was not into it. She said, "Why are we gonna put them in something so violent?" She's a tennis player, you know. She didn't really see it. I said, "No, it's super important. I always knew that it's something that I would love for my kids." So I think we tried different types. We took them to karate, um, 2 or 3 different types of martial arts. And for some reason, as soon as Nico saw he tried a class, a jiu-jitsu class at that place. And as soon as he tried, he said, "No, I like this. I like it." And he was young. I think he was 11, maybe 10 or 11. And right away he clicked. You know, it clicked. So that's what made him start jiu-jitsu. And then Bono followed later. But I remember asking the coach. I said, "You think I should try? I mean, I know I'm not a 20-year-old anymore. So absolutely, you have to try."
In
There's-
Hollywood?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Said, "There's no." I said, "But what about getting hurt and this?" And I said, "Don't worry. You'll do fine." So I took his word and I tried, and I have to
I just
say,
realized, Kevin, I just realized how he's buffer than might be buffer than Rob. Because you see his guns? This guy's jacked.
Hey, he's jacked. Don't you disrespect.
Okay. All right. Let's see when when he's his age, you know.
well, thanks for that.
Sorry, go.
No
So
problem.
how you got into it? Yeah.
So I gave it a shot, and it's addicting. It's I always knew that I love these sports. I always watched, and then I said, wow.
Combat sports as well.
Yeah, I always watched.
You watch UFCs and stuff?
I used to watch boxing.
Okay.
And then slowly moved to UFC, to MMA, and always.
You never did boxing or any?
I did a little bit of kickboxing in France.
Okay.
I was about 19 or so, maybe for a year. And then I did also in France a little earlier, around 17. I did maybe a year of wrestling, but for
Okay.
some reason I wasn't too much into it. For some reason, I think wearing those tight
the
things and
singlets, yeah.
feeling all the sweat at this age, I wasn't ready for it for some reason.
How old are you when you did that?
17.
Okay.
But I could tell that it's an amazing sport, but I gave up on that. But
Why do you think you didn't? Do you think that was the place, the environment, maybe the coaching, the time?
No, they were great actually. Now that I think about it, they were great coaches. I remember there was a Persian guy. Persians, Iranians are really good at this sport, and he was amazing. I rolled with him once. Just he was showing me something, and I couldn't grab him at all. He was just able, like a snake, to come out of any position. It was impressive. I don't know. I think I wasn't ready for it psychologically, for in contact with another guy.
Yeah.
Because I'd never done that before. I've done all kinds of sports, but more of a team sports.
Okay.
Basketball, volleyball, things
Not
like that.
contact
Yeah,
sport like that.
That was something new for me. But to go back to jiu-jitsu, well, first of all, it teaches you that you can do things regardless of age, and maybe you have to be more careful. Maybe you have to prepare yourself more, hold back a little bit. But it teaches you that it's not too late, And I was kind of thinking, wow, in my 50s, I think there are certain things I need to turn the page on. But no, that was, and I feel completely good, now training with younger guys,
Yeah.
and like, wow, I can handle this.
You can do this. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a great to work on your head. I mean, you can't really have down days with jiu-jitsu. I mean, if you're upset, maybe because of work or something got you upset, you go to jiu-jitsu and it's a cleanser. You know,
It's all good. Whatever.
you come out like a reset.
Yeah, yeah.
Every time you roll, every time you train. So I love it. It's great.
Yeah. Nice. Nice.
I suffer the consequences sometimes, a little breakage here, a little
So what are
breakage there.
give me a list of injuries you've had? I've seen too many.
Yeah, you've seen few.
Extreme.
You were right there.
Extreme. I don't know, it's a breaks probably.
Yeah, this one broke in half right there.
But you just look at me, pop it back, and then if you're in a tournament or whatever, you just keep going or keep training.
No, I did have to do one tournament with a full injury on one arm, and I did okay. So yeah, no, I believe actually in training through pain a little bit and not letting rest, because that's not working for me. So yeah, I broke this guy. I had to get off the mats for maybe a month, but while I was not doing that, I was doing all kinds of exercise to try to keep my body going.
What kind of exercises?
I was doing pull-ups because I had a cast here, and then I was kind of resting my arm on whatever, and still trying to make a pull-up work, even though it wasn't really, I couldn't really grab or anything. I was doing push-ups, modified push-ups.
Training around the injury.
Yeah.
Finding a way.
And, the worst part is when they remove it and you realize your hand is half the size, because it's been blocked, for a month or 5 weeks. Then you retrain it. But anyway, I did have this one broken. I had this one dislocated back. I had a rib broken here. It's still sticking out. I had a few things with some muscles by the hips, torn muscle here from not really an arm bar. I was just posting and went backwards, and everything got ripped. Everything was purple. It was nasty. I thought I broke my elbow, but it wasn't. It was just overstretched over.
It wasn't ready for it.
Yeah. I mean, the injuries go on and on. Last tournament, I had a guy poke me right here with his nail. I don't know if it's still there or not, but I was worried about that for a second in the middle of my first match of the tournament. But I was able to continue. Yeah, injuries are there. I think I'm getting a little better, with injuries. I think as you go up in your technique, you kind of learn how to protect yourself a little more, or what moves not to do, especially with your hands.
What positions, right? Not to do, yeah.
Especially with your hands. I mean, I think as you're a little older, fingers are a problem, Hands can be tricky.
Yeah.
They can get stuck, things like that. So I'm improving that.
Yeah. Yeah. What's your favorite submission?
That's a good one. Well, I'm gonna give up my tricks now. So no, I'm joking. One of my favorite is when I'm on side control and I switch my hip and my leg.
They're so competitive. I was at the Marcus's baby shower, and the clips, As soon as I got the clip, she was trying to trick me for the clip to get the clip.
Yeah, my wife was all over those clips too.
Who won, Kevin?
Actually?
You or you won?
He started out right away. He had 20 of them. I don't know how you do that.
Favorite submission?
Favorite submission.
Favorite submission. So yeah, I switch my hips. I put my thigh under the guy's shoulder, and then I act like I'm gonna attack the arm, and he's trying to defend, and then I move my leg over the head, and I close my triangle from
Okay.
the side control. That's I
Okay.
think that's one of my favorites. And I either go for that one, or if you won't let that happen, I go for the Americana,
Mm-hmm. Cool.
and that's been working out well for me in tournaments too. But yeah, that's my favorite go-to. But I love arm bars, of course, or I get to the back. Um, and I have the submissions that I rarely get to do, but are really my favorites are the from rubber guard,
Okay.
because not a lot of people go for that.
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
I love attacking with rubber guards and like 10th planet, sorry.
Mm-hmm. 20th planet.
20th, I said.
Yeah, because you're, people like, usually like guys over 40, like their ribs get really tight, but you're able to, you're really mobile.
Yeah.
I'm always like, damn, I'm always asking you okay, you okay? And all the positions, like, man, you're like a yogi in a way,
I do yoga here and there, and I like that. And I think flexibility, I'm kind of lucky with that. I didn't think of myself as super flexible all my life, but it looks like I have pretty good flexibility,
Yeah, yeah.
especially at my age, I guess.
Yeah.
And I use that,
Mhm.
as much as I can. But yeah, from the rubber guard, there's some really cool things to do, and I'm still working on that. It's not easy to get.
Yeah, yeah. Cool. It's always ongoing, right? And
Yeah.
hopefully the learning and all this stuff never stops.
Yeah, no, I don't like to overwhelm myself with technique. I like to really stick to what I know, and maybe add a little variation here and there as time goes on, of course. But I'm not into going too complex,
Mhm.
I, sometimes I get confused if the technique is a little too far out there.
It's too
I
much
get lost a little
information.
bit. So I like the basics a lot.
Mhm. Gi or no gi?
I compete mostly in gi, but honestly, no gi is awesome. Yeah, and I think it's a good complement for the gi. I think it ups your game for speed and moving around. Because everything is faster in the no gi. Everything is slippery, and it's also good for your grips and hands. Because if I do too much gi,
Your fingers, right?
my
Mhm.
hands get tired, my fingers get swollen sometimes. So I love both. I
Yeah,
really do.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's very cool.
I'm proud you say that.
Yeah. I wish,
You're a jiu-jitsu, competitor, athlete, and that's how it should be, right?
Yeah.
You know everything.
In the nogi, I wish, I could break that blockage I have for shooting, for a single or double. That I think has to
Getting
do
your head
also
driving, going in with your head.
Yeah, I think that has to do with, not being in your 20s anymore. I think that has to do with that too. So I'd like to improve that.
You were doing Ostomer's class wrestling, right, for a bit?
Yeah, I was trying that out for a minute, and yeah, wrestling I think is definitely for
Yeah. For
a different
kid that-
age bracket,
Yeah.
but it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
One of the things I just being so involved with the wrestling now, and of course I'm being in MMA also as well, but like, man, like coming back to jiu-jitsu, like jiu-jitsu it's the best, because you can train forever, and it's the lifestyle that it
Yeah.
affords you, right?
Yeah, sometimes I wonder, is there an age limit where I'm gonna say to myself, okay, enough? But so far I don't see it. There's a couple of guys that are still coming
Yeah.
to train. They're older and
Yeah.
love
80
it.
years old, savage,
Yeah,
And
savage.
Helio Gracie, right? He was like in his 90s or whatever he was. He was up there
Amazing,
till the end.
amazing. Yeah, I mean,
This is the stuff that keeps you going.
yeah, and you can choose your partners too. You don't have to go too crazy. There are certain people maybe you want to say, okay, I'll avoid this guy. He's a little too big for me, or don't want to get smashed today. But that's the beauty of jiu-jitsu. Yeah, I totally see it going for a good 10 more years at least.
Yeah, yeah.
I hope more.
Yeah, that's it. What advice do you have somebody starting out jiu-jitsu after 50?
Well, I think you have to be, well, before I even go into that, I think what's mandatory is nutrition for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think my overall performance would be way different if I kind of let go on my nutrition or didn't care. I used to be a pescatarian for several years, close to 8 years. 8 years, I
8
would
years.
say.
Okay.
And vegan slash pescatarian. And when I started jiu-jitsu, after about a year or two, I could feel that I'm not, recovering fast enough. I was always aching and always sore. I mean, I still get sore. Don't get me wrong, but and then I switched to carnivore, full-on carnivore. Well, carnivore, it's a specific carnivore. It's carnivore with fruits and dairy.
Like
And
pineapples and
any
any
fruits,
kind of fruits?
really.
Okay.
Just no grains, no breads, things like that. No processed food, really. It's all natural food. But to close the parenthesis, I think it's very important for nutrition for this age group, and it pays off. Your recovery is better, your stamina is better, and you keep your weight down. If you have any issues with weight, although I never had issues with weight. So nutrition is super important, and something that's pretty self-explanatory is training, and not just jiu-jitsu. I like hiking. I used to be a runner, but I'd rather just do hillside hiking. Calisthenics, I like a lot. Push-ups, pull-ups, whatever you can use your body with.
You've always done that your whole life?
Pretty much. I used to do a lot of weights also in my 30s. And I used to work construction, which is my field of business, really. And I think that helps a lot, keeping in good shape. I do mountain biking also whenever I can. But so this conditioning is really important for an older person, let's say after 50s. And then training jiu-jitsu, like I said, gi and no gi. I highly recommend. I don't recommend sticking to just the gi. And of course, if depends on the time you have available. As much as you can train, the better. I used to think, oh, twice a week is great, and then I moved to 3 times a week. I said, wow, that's great. I think I don't need to recover that much. And then you realize that sometimes you recover better when you go day after day, because your body is just, you wake up your body again. Even though you feel like you're sore because you're training the day after, your soreness, you kind of go over it, you go past it. But then another advice is you have to be careful. You have to kind of choose sometimes your partners.
Your partners, yeah.
And what else would I say? No, and I think you can mix. You can roll with younger people, older people. I don't see a problem with that. As long as you avoid the crazy ones, maybe.
Yeah.
The crazy competitor.
Yeah. Some spazzing or just could be dangerous, right?
And you know what? Another thing I could say is, especially when you're blue or purple, you have to be careful with the white belts, because that's how I got hurt quite often. So sometimes they're a little, explosive, and they don't know exactly what they're doing, and they're gonna make crazy moves that you don't expect, and that's where you break your finger or something. So that's another thing to pay attention to.
Be selective of your training partners, and especially watch out for the white belts.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe if I could add also, sometimes it's good to. I saw this on a YouTube video from one of the masters, and he was saying, it's great to train when you start from a disadvantageous position. You know, let them
Start in bad positions.
let them be on your side control, or let them take your back and go from there. You know, or from the mount. And I like doing that with maybe a little bit lower belts. You know, so that gives them a chance to try some things and for me to work through it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so that I would say those are the things I would recommend.
When do you think the best time to start jiu-jitsu is? What age?
Oh, age. Honestly, 10-year-old, like my boys, you know. Uh, I think that's awesome. Yeah. It, I mean, the thing is, you want to make sure that they stay in jiu-jitsu, you know. So I think they have great friends and a great circle of people around them. So I think that's what keeps them
Yeah.
wanting to do more. But I would say the earlier the better, you know. But if you've been looking for something to keep your mind busy and get yourself in shape, any age really, 40s, 50s, I think it's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just gets harder. It gets harder to start, you know.
Yeah.
Because when you start in the 40s or 50s, it's your body has to get used to this semi-abuse, you know. But you could definitely do it.
What are your goals? What goals can you share with us?
Well, yeah, I tried the World Master Vegas. I think I've done it 3 times so far. Twice in blue belt and once in purple. And yeah, I'd love to get that one once, you know. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna shoot for it this year, and I feel pretty ready. So that would be one of the goals. And maybe one of these days would be nice to travel abroad, you know, for a tournament.
Europeans,
I know
right?
Kevin's doing it. That's awesome.
Europeans or Japan, Asia,
Yeah,
right?
something a little outside, you know, just to see how it feels to compete somewhere else. Would be nice.
Yeah. The IBJJF, they kind of shared some people's stories, you know, like, hey, I'm from New Hampshire and I'm here, I do this and that, and I'm competing and whatever belt they were. And I thought that was cool, you know, because they're like Americans in Portugal or wherever the tournament was.
Yeah.
And they're featuring people more and more now.
Nice.
And it's important, right, to do that, to feature and to share people's stories.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I wonder how is the level of jiu-jitsu in Europe versus the US? I mean, is it much higher, much lower? I'm curious, you know, to find out about that.
Yeah, it's grown so much in these last, I mean, was it now 2020? Like the last 15 years, it's been going crazy in all the countries. But I remember I went to Poland. It was like for European countries, I had the most black belts. But now, like all over Europe, it's because it's the lifestyle, right? And I think it's outgrown by leaps and bounds in France too. Even like judo had the most, right? Judo practitioners or whatever. But jiu-jitsu has been going crazy.
Nice.
Because of just the lifestyle and the way it is, right?
I'm still hoping and waiting for it to show up at the Olympics, you know? That's really something I don't get, why it's not there, you know?
Do you think, because there's a debate whether jiu-jitsu should be in the Olympics or it shouldn't be in the Olympics. What do you think?
I don't see the reason why it should not be, honestly. It's super competitive. It's technical. I don't know if it's because I practice jiu-jitsu or not, but I love to watch jiu-jitsu fights, you know, on IBJJF or whatever. And I think it would give an extra push to the sport, you know, for high school kids to want to
have a
compete
path,
even
right?
more.
Yeah. Like the IBJJF, right? The International, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Federation, the official one. Their goal is not to have it be an Olympic sport.
Yeah, I don't get that. I really
because they want to keep the essence of it alive. Whereas, like, because judo and jiu-jitsu, it's like the same tree, right? And Brazilian jiu-jitsu kept the essence of what it was alive, like in a real street, in a fight situation, self-defense, whatever fight situation. And judo turned into, the Olympic sport, like very sportive, or spectator friendly, where it ended up being just like a throw. And so that I think that's the debate, right? Whether you want to keep the the essence of it, you know, the self-defense, the fight aspect of it alive versus like it turning into like a spectator sport, which it needs to be sometimes for, you know, for the Olympics.
I just don't. Maybe I'm wrong about this, but I don't see what will change in jiu-jitsu if it moves to the Olympic style. You know, sport. Do you think they're gonna slowly change it where it's more for spectators and more?
I mean, that's kind of what happened with judo,
I
right?
see.
You know, where it, you know, turned into that, and
I
Brazilian, the Gracie family kept the essence of it alive, and then fast forward into the UFCs in the early '90s, and then case in point, they did their thing, right?
Yeah.
And showed everybody the effectiveness of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Right.
So, but I think there's a middle point, whatever it may be, maybe like a no-gi or grappling,
Yeah,
something like
sure.
that, some kind of division
Yeah.
that can get in there, you know.
I could see no-gi very easily. You know.
Yeah.
Just like in wrestling. You know.
Yeah.
I think it would be great.
And there's so many
personally.
practitioners and so many. It's grown so much around the world, right?
No, I think it would be a big plus to have that personally, but I understand there's another side to it. You know?
Yeah. Like the Sheikh, like the Abu Dhabi Federation, they want to make it an Olympic sport.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think the wrestling, the federation, the FILA, and whatever the federation for wrestling, they want to make it an Olympic sport as well. They have a gi and no gi kind of grappling division as well.
Nice.
So there's definitely a push around the world to make something happen.
I thought there was a talk about the next Olympics that there was a slight possibility, but I haven't heard much
Yeah,
about
I don't know. People have to come together to
I
to
think it'll
agree,
be
right?
a
Yeah, I
big-
think so too.
I think it'll
so
be
too.
a big plus for Jiu-Jitsu personally.
I talked with some of the real old school jiu-jitsu guys, and I don't want it to be an Olympic sport
Yeah.
because of the you know, that of it taking away the fight aspect of it, you know, the self-defense aspect of it. So, and then, you know, even like we talked to one of the Adam Wardzinski, he won the worlds last year at black belt, and he's like, yeah, I don't think it should be
I see.
an Olympic sport because it'll take away, maybe, you know, because there's politics then, right? And then it's probably going to be, the organization, right? That kind of dictates where the sport goes. But I don't know, maybe not.
Yeah.
Like the
I think
IBJJF is not an Olympic federation, but it's like,
I
it's
think
huge.
IBJJF should be involved in it.
Yeah.
You know, and make it be part of it.
yeah,
I think it'll be to their advantage. But anyway.
yeah. It's interesting.
I don't think.
And even like because it's IBJJF, right? International Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Federation, right? And it's like the whole world. So who knows at one point that, I don't know. It's interesting, right? Because, you know, the whole back when I first started Jiu-Jitsu, there's all these like Japanese Jiu-Jitsu and this Jiu-Jitsu.
Right.
And then you have to differentiate it by saying Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu where it came from, a certain, the style, right? But I think now Jiu-Jitsu around the world it's Jiu-Jitsu, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, you have to give credit to Brazilians, you know,
Yeah.
for doing what they did.
Gracie family and
And I love it.
the roots.
But yeah, it's definitely.
I think the culture
international.
too. The culture, I think, kind of into the jiu-jitsu world. You know, I think it's made it more fun and
Yeah.
better, unique.
Yeah, it feels like a circle, you know, a close circle for the jiu-jitsu people and
Community, family.
And I think Brazilians probably pushed that in, you know,
yeah.
made it happen.
Yeah. We've had like a few Brazilians coming through, right, and being coaches here. How do you like that when they come?
Yeah, I love
That's
it.
it.
Professor Edson, for example, is one of the guys that I could experience myself because he taught here a few times, and I love it. I love the style. It's fun, but it's tough. Yeah, it's no joke, you know.
Yeah.
And it's really the roots, you know. You feel like the roots there, you know, and yourself because you trained in Brazil and learned your skills there. So no, I totally appreciate that. Definitely. I'd love to go to Brazil to you know, maybe
Compete even too, right?
yeah, compete is one thing, but even
To
if
visit.
I know one of the partners I roll with went for 1 week jiu-jitsu training camp in Brazil. Uh, the whole package, you know, with flight and food, everything was included, and he loved it. He had a great experience. I think I'd like to do that one day, you know, just for the fun of it,
Yeah.
to feel like, okay, I'm in the Brazilian circle. Let's see
Yeah.
how it is. It'll be a good experience.
Well, awesome, man. Congratulations on
you.
yourself and just your whole family. It's beautiful to see all you guys grow and succeed and do well, and
Thank
that's
you.
what it's all about.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I have a hard time to believe that my wife now is always pushing, you know? She's like, oh, yeah, next tournament, and Milo and Bono, Nico, you want to do it? You know, I never could imagine her ever getting into it.
Yeah.
And she doesn't do any jiu-jitsu at all.
But she's there at all the tournaments, every tournament,
oh,
every event.
Yeah, she's into it.
Yeah.
She can see.
Fighting for everybody.
Yeah. So I love that. Never expected that.
Any shout outs you want to give?
Shout outs to you guys. Legacy is awesome. Love training here. I love the family feeling here. You know, we started out here during COVID, actually.
Yeah.
At the end of COVID, or when it was slowly
In the middle,
transitioning. And we're lucky we found this home, you know, and 5 years into it, or four plus, it's great. Yeah, it's part of our lives. And shout out to all my coaches, and planning on being here for a while.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you
Thank you.
to you and
Appreciate
your
it.
family.
Thanks, Kevin.
Yeah, and I look forward to many more matches and competitions and successes, and I look forward to becoming a black belt Masters world champion in the future.
I hope you will be handing me that belt one of these days. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, brother.